There are nights I can't sleep, not because of the noise around me, but because of the noise within me. The echoes of mistakes I wish I could erase. The whispers that say, "You've gone too far this time. You've outsinned His mercy. You've fallen where grace can't reach." And I almost believe them until I hear another voice, gentle, unwavering, yet fierce. A voice that breaks through my shame and says, "My child, even here I am." Even here, in the dark corners of regret. Even here, in the sin I thought too ugly for heaven's light. Even here, when I can't forgive myself, God whispers, "I already did." I remember the cross, not as a story told in Sunday school, but as the place where my guilt met grace, where my filth met freedom, where my failure met forgiveness. And I see His hands, pierced but open, not clenched in anger, but stretched wide enough to hold my shame, wide enough to say, "It is finished," even for that. You see, grace isn't a clean pen. It's not gentle hands avoiding dirt. It's holy hands reaching into it. Grace kneels in the mess I made, cleanses the wounds I reopened, and calls me beloved while I'm still bleeding. Oh, what a God, who doesn't flinch at my failure, who doesn't retreat when I fall, but runs toward the wreckage of me. With mercy in His eyes, He says, "There is no pit too deep, no night too long, no stain too dark that my blood can't wash clean." There were times I thought I had to earn it, to pray harder, to weep longer, to prove I was sorry enough. But grace doesn't wait for performance. Grace interrupts mid-fall. Grace says, "I knew the worst of you and still chose you." He knew the darkness that would dwell in me, and still He hung there. He saw every failure that would come, and still He said, "Father, forgive." That's extravagant love. That's reckless mercy. That's God. And so when guilt screams, "You're unworthy," I answer back, "You are right, but grace made me worthy." When shame whispers, "You are beyond saving," I respond, "The cross says otherwise." And when my heart trembles under the weight of self-hate, I remember His voice. "I am not counting your sins against you. I have cast them as far as east is from west. You are not defined by what you've done, but by what I've done for you. So now, I walk not in guilt, but gratitude, not in fear, but freedom, because the same God who saw my worst day still calls me His masterpiece. And I can hear Him saying, "Your past may accuse you, but my grace defends you. Your sin may scream death, but my love still speaks life. I am not my mistakes. I am not my shame. I am not the sum of all my failures. I am the one Jesus thought of when He said, 'It is finished.'" He doesn't just forgive, He restores. He doesn't just cleanse, He crowns. He doesn't just pardon, He pursues. And so, even in the moments I can't forgive myself, God reminds me, I never loved you because you were perfect. I loved you because you were mine. That's the kind of love that chases, the kind of grace that doesn't quit, the kind of mercy that breaks every chain of guilt and whispers in the silence, you are forgiven, you are free, you are loved, you are mine. So, when the night comes again and the voice of shame tries to speak, I will silence it with the truth. My God knows me and still calls me worthy. My God saw my darkness and still chose to love me. My God remembers my sin no more. And that is the sound of extravagant grace. Grace, still greater, still stronger, still enough for me.